Wow. Just gonna kill my dog like that right in front of me. I was going to dope fight. Alright, hopefully we can sneak in a couple here. I was going easy. Oh, it's going awesome, man. I'm really looking forward to the next couple of weeks. It's going to be an awesome time. Looking forward to the weekend, too. Hopefully I get some time with the kids this weekend. It's been kind of a... not a crazy week. It's kind of a busy week, just spring break. They've been out doing stuff. Be nice to do something together this weekend. Ever notice how giant Sephiroth is here? There's no shot. There's no actual shot. That was her first move, and it was Cloud. This game hates me, dude. What is that? Can I can't even, like, kill him and revive him. I mean, I can later when she runs out of MP, but oh my god. Okay, he actually does almost 200. That is so mean. That is so mean. I mean, it would have been faster just to stick with the other run and wait till she ran out of MP. What a fight. This Genova's immune to gravity, right? It'd be kind of a waste to throw an MP item, but it would make it a lot quicker. I just hate to waste anything on this fight because it's free, but... hindsight is always 50-50 gift card. I can't do this anymore, dude. This is gonna become like the biggest meme in the community nowadays. $50 gift cards. Next meme week, I'm gonna have a point redemption for a $50 gift card from Heroes. Well, strange as it sounds, we've reached like the halfway point here. This is kind of like the halfway point of the challenge. Just because of how things work out. The early game takes a lot longer than the late game. Maybe not on this run, because Temple might take a bit. But, yeah. We're making good progress. Yo, thank you, Plum. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Can't believe she immediately silenced Cloud. Yeah, so I explained it last week. It's kind of complicated, but really long story short, it's actually better for Aerith to be in the PHS for the overall XP gain. Even though we're getting rid of her permanently, it works out better for her to get half XP so that someone else can be in the party and get no XP. Just because of the way everything works out. Because Tifa and Red 13 are such low level, if we let them into the PHS, they start gaining levels like crazy. So by putting Aerith in the PHS, she still gets XP that we can get rid of later, but we can keep Red 13 and Tifa super low on level, which in the end just ends up being better. Now we are going to let Aerith take some XP, some full XP later. She's going to take full XP from the fight in Coral, and she's going to take full XP from the temple fights, I think. Pretty sure. Because she has to be in the party anyway, so might as well give her the XP. But these early fights, we give it all to Cloud, because he's really high level. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, you get half XP in the PHS. So she's still getting XP, just not as much as she could be. But see, if Tifa were in the PHS, she would have gained like 10 levels, because she's so low level right now. Whereas if Aerith was in the party, she would get maybe a couple extra levels from getting full XP instead of half. But see, in fights where she's forced, like the elevator fight and like the temple fights, that's where she'll take XP. No. We're doing the optimal strat for Red 13 here as well. Because he gets put away, but only temporarily. Then he comes back. This run we're doing right now is the absolute optimal run. The only way we could do better is if we allowed ourselves to wrong warp. In which case we would just warp to the end of the game. And be level like 10. I wonder if we do a run where we allow ourselves to wrong warp and allow ourselves to Materia Smuggle, if we'd actually change Midgar a bit. Like if anyone would have any levels that we could avoid if we swap the PHS a little bit. Or if it would just be the same as this run. How's it going, Snipes? We can source farm. I'm not going to unless we have to. But source farming is on the table on this run because we will get morph. And you can farm. Wait. Can we farm? Yes. Yes. For a second I was like, wait a second. We need W item, but we can dig it up. No, you don't need stuff stolen. You just morph one enemy and then W item. So yeah, we can source farm, I believe, power sources, speed sources, and luck sources, I think. The three that have multiple enemies in the fight. But just for fun, I won't unless we absolutely have to. But it is on the table. I don't think we'll have to. At that point, we'll be strong enough. How much health? Oof. Wait. Shouldn't that have done more damage? Did I forget to put... circle it back on or something? Pretty sure I still have a magic plus on. Oh, you idiot! Oh wow, I have just enough to do it twice. But yeah, if we were to run into a scenario in the super late game where we could not defeat an enemy without leveling up, we could instead source farm to save the run. But I don't think that'll happen. If we get stuck, it'll be before that. Oh, it was incredible, Snipes. I can see why so many people love Chained Echoes so much. It's an amazing, amazing game already. One more. Let's attack. It's not really that much faster now that I'm doing 200 damage. With the animation being kind of slow and also sometimes missing. It's kind of weird seeing Cloud with exactly 600 HP. We're playing Expedition next week, Snipes, and we're only playing it next week because Indie Gauntlet starts the week following. So it'll be really nice for anyone that wants to like check it out but not get spoiled with like later stuff. So we'll have a week to play it, kind of show it off, and then we'll do Indie Gauntlet, and then I'll finish it afterwards. So be good for you to get a taste of it next week. The new Let's Play is Chained Echoes. We did it. Level 20. Alright. What a crazy beep. Another poison ring to sell. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of stuff about blueprints. Maybe a possibility for Indie Gauntlet? We'll see. See you in a bit, Snipes. If we do blueprints for Indie Gauntlet, that means we'll be giving away copies of it too. And it's brand new. So that'd be a pretty big giveaway. Well, I'm not against it. We've done some pretty big giveaways for Indie Gauntlet. It's definitely our biggest giveaway event. Maybe even some $50 gift cards. Real ones. Yeah, Indie Gauntlet usually gets pretty crazy. I don't remember how much we gave away last year, but it was a lot. It all goes straight to indie developers, you know? That's what's the most important thing. Because I think the indie game community, industry, whatever, is what keeps the gaming industry intact, you know? Keeps the AAA developers somewhat in line. They still go crazy, but the more indie games that are successful, the more that AAA studios have to start paying attention to what indie games are doing and change their games to be more like indie games, which means being more affordable and less microtransaction-y and everything else, and have more actual faith in their product. It really, I mean, like, that's something that I would have said in denial a couple of years ago. Like, that's something that I would have said, like, I wish it would do that, but in all honesty, AAA studios just don't care. And to a point, I still feel that way, but after 2 years of indie games almost winning Game of the Year, and indie games destroying, like, player counts, I mean, it's gotta be affecting AAA studios in quite a big way. We were just looking at Drug Game the other day. It's like the 3rd most played game on Steam. It's crazy. Also, I think the 2 games that were above Drug Game in the Steam play counts were Dota 2 and Counter-Strike 2, which were both originally like mods of other games that became games, which is just kind of funny. Like, at this point, they're AAA games, but, like, originally they weren't, which is funny. Do they, though? Feels like AAA studios just take new innovations made by indies, monetize the heck out of it, and run the whole idea into the ground. Yes, they definitely do that. But they also don't do that sometimes. There's the occasional AAA W that happens. It's not often, but it happens. And at least the last couple of years, many of the games that have done that have just tanked. I mean, I'm still of the opinion that, like, we were saying that quadruple A games were gonna have like start happening within the next couple of years. and Ubisoft jokingly said that they made a quadruple A game. I don't think quadruple A games ever happen. The market will not, it just won't work. Triple A games barely work now on their own. I think over the next couple of years, we're going to see smaller games from everyone. AAA studios are just absolutely hemorrhaging money on every project that lasts any more than like 3 years. All of these big projects that took a million years to make, they all fail horrifically. And games that get churned out in a year and are just like smaller scale, sometimes they fail, but sometimes they succeed. I think Bethesda is probably the best company to look at when it comes to this. All of their games that they spend years and years and years making just either flop or they don't make nearly enough money to cover how long it took to make. Whereas stuff like Oblivion Remastered, that they make presumably pretty fast. We don't know how long they spent on it, but presumably it took a lot less time to make that than something like Starfield. And they just shadow drop it one day, like boom, here it is, instead of going on a super long development cycle and publicity cycle. And it just like makes bank and goes crazy. And I don't actually know like what the numbers are on Oblivion yet, but just from what I've heard from people, it's definitely succeeding. Quadruple A tier. What's that Canadian game? The Lost Dark? Isn't that Canadian? That's triple A. I mean, there's a lot of arguments against it. Like, when the PS4 was first released, big games were huge, for lack of a better term. Like, when a game came out that was, like, massive, it was a big deal and everyone thought it was awesome. Nowadays, people don't care much about how big a game is, because every game is objectively going to be big. Like, we know at this point that video games can be huge. It's not shocking. It's not, like, impressive for a game to be huge as much as it was a couple of years ago. There's some games that we expect to be huge, and if they aren't huge, it'll lose value. Stuff like Elder Scrolls, stuff like Elden Ring, stuff like GTA. Those games, unfortunately, part of their success is being huge. So they're kind of stuck now. They have to be huge, or else people are going to be like, this isn't right. But other IPs, it's like, it's not impressive anymore to just have a big world. It's more impressive to be innovative and unique and fun and also have a price tag that isn't like $90. If you can accomplish that, people will love your game. Nobody's a great example of this is Mario Kart World. No one's impressed with Mario Kart World being big. It's cool that it's big, but if we had the choice between Mario Kart World being this massive open world and it's $80 versus Mario Kart World being slightly smaller but it's $60, we would take the $60. Like, we're not... part of Mario Kart World isn't that it's like the biggest map ever or something, you know? If it's big enough to where it's, cool, like, we don't need the game to be in development for another 3 years so we can have, like, a map that you can drive forward for 10 hours and never hit a wall. Like, we've had games like that. It's not impressive anymore. It's impressive, but it's not, we're not only going to buy a game. I mean, I remember when, you remember when The Crew came out? And like the big thing with The Crew was that you could drive from one side of the US to the other, like without stopping. I know so many people bought that game just off of that alone. Just off of that tagline alone. You heard it like on the commercial. I don't think they ever said it in the commercials, but I saw posts about it where people are like, you could drive across the US. And I know people went out and bought it just for that. That's not really a thing anymore. Like, it's not as important anymore. If Elden Ring 2 came out, or actually, if Elden Ring 2 came out, I guess it would be, people would care. If a different Souls game came out, like Lords of Shadow 2, is that what it's called? Lords of Shadow? And they said something like, the map is 2 times bigger than Elden Ring's map. It would be cool, but like, people wouldn't buy it just for that. People would immediately be like, yeah, but what's in it? Is it fun? Is like the world like interesting, or is it just a giant empty world? You know, people are more critical of big games now. Whereas a couple years ago, just the fact that it was big was a selling point. People were interested in seeing how big games could get. That's no longer really a thing. People don't care as much about that. If it's a world that's 2 times bigger than Elden Ring and it's like full to the brim with stuff to do, now we're talking. But just the fact that it's big doesn't excite people as much as it used to. So I just think that like big AAA, big for the sake of being big games are going to be dead within the next couple of years. And they should be dead already, but I know AAA companies are going to try to sell more and probably fail. But yeah, I think games are going to get smaller in scope than the next couple of years. It'll be way more profitable for everyone. And we know that's all that the companies really care about is profit, for better or for worse. And I see way too many smaller scope games hit it big than big scope games. Yeah, people are saying like, oh yeah, with AI, they can make worlds that are 5 times as big as Elden Ring because AI will allow them to generate these massive worlds. No one's going to buy that. Nobody wants an AI generated world that's 5 times bigger than Elden Ring. Elden Ring already, one of the biggest complaints I hear is that the world is too big and too empty. Like, no one's going to want to play that. Maybe distant in the future when AI gets really good at generating like, or, you know, they use AI to make the world big, but then go in and have time and the ability to add the details. You know, AI will do a lot of good things for the video game industry, but people have like the most brain dead posts when AI was first getting off the ground, when AI was first starting to, you know, get into the public eye. People are making posts like video games are over. We're going to have triple the size of Elden Ring tomorrow, and it's going to be free to make. It's going to be a $10 game because it's going to be so easy for the companies to make it, and it's going to be massive, and they can sell it for $10 and still make a profit. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? That is not at all how AI works. It's not how gaming works. 99% of gaming is the expression of humans in an art form. No one cares about a giant AI generated map. People that actually care about good games care about the personality of the people that created the game being reflected in the art itself. I want to see someone that wrote the character of Barret express the feelings and emotions of Barret through the character, and how that reflects on their life and their life experiences as they were able to put it into the character. You can't AI generate Barret. And even if you can, it's not reflective of any real person. It's just an AI written thing. I mean, like, to be clear, you can AI generate a character, and they can even have a deep story and lore. But the point is, we know who wrote the character of Barret. We know Tetsuya Nomura. We know you know, and we see him reflected in these characters. That's what we like. We don't like just the fact that Barrett exists with text. And all of the experience that the people had that created all of this, we see that reflected in the game. We get to the end of the game and we see the credits and we see all the people that worked on it. We know that they all brought something to the table, and something, it all came together in an experience that all flows together and makes sense. That's what art is. When we go to an art museum and we see a painting of like lines on a white piece of, like, you know, what looks like a ketchup and mustard stain on a white piece of paper, we don't think to ourselves like, wow, that looks cool. We think to ourselves like, what was the person behind that thinking when they made it? What kind of emotion did they have to like put this on the page? That's what makes art interesting, not just like the physical look of it. Because anyone can make that if they copy it. If they see it and they take a piece of paper and they sketch it, they can draw the same thing. Relatable artist. Spilled the ketchup. But regardless of all that, what's more important about it is just the fact that, like, I don't think big worlds are that exciting anymore. Like I said, I don't think, for the most part, people don't care about it anymore. Or at least it's not a selling point anymore. It's something added to it that's interesting, but you can have a carbon bangle. Should be fine. He'll be fine. Give him a trank. He'll be fine. Who was it at Nintendo that said I always wanted to drive Toad's Turnpike out to Yoshi Valley? I don't know, but they were lying. Maybe after they came up with the idea, he was like, wow, that'd be cool, but there's no shot that's what he was thinking in the shower in the morning. Man, if only I could drive from Toad's Turnpike to Yoshi's Valley, my life would be complete. He's sitting at dinner with his family and they're like, what's wrong, Dad? Oh, nothing. Just contemplating. Contemplating what, Dad? I just don't know if my dream is ever going to be realized. I don't know if I'll ever be able to drive directly from Toad's Turnpike to Yoshi's Valley. If only there was a game. But the higher-ups just won't listen to me. They just won't listen to my dreams. Yeah, the overall point I was making, plus or minus AI, is just that I think it would be more profitable for AAA companies to make smaller IPs and, you know, churn them out every other year, every other 2 years, rather than putting their entire workforce behind a project that's 7 years long that has about a 50-50 chance of being successful. And I think they're starting to realize that too. I think projects like Diablo 4 and Concord and Starfield, I mean, there's just no way that they're going to see those and be like, that's a good idea, let's do that again. Diablo 4 has actually made quite the comeback, but it's definitely a disaster when it released. Diablo 4 did exactly what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to be a get in the door kind of game, and then they're going to sell stuff over the next 10 years. So Diablo 4 is probably not a good example of this, but stuff like Concord and Starfield and pretty much every company has had one massive game fall. Even Final Fantasy 16, which was very successful, Square Enix was like, yeah, we didn't make the amount of money we were supposed to. Which they say that about everything, but I think we and the companies could benefit from more smaller projects. Stuff like Stranger of Paradise, which should have been better than it was, but I'm sure was like a breath of fresh air for the company not have to work on it for 9 years.